You're off today, right? Come on, let's go.
There are nights that should be ordinary, a night to listen to music, meet friends, eat something, have fun, and go home with happy memories. But on February 20th, 2003, an ordinary night turned into one of the greatest tragedies in the history of the United States. In the city of West Warwick, in the state of Rhode Island, hundreds of people gathered at the Station nightclub to watch a show by the rock band Great White. Among them was Joe Keenan. He had no idea that in just a few minutes he would lose almost everything. He would lose his girlfriend, he would lose important parts of his body, he would lose the life he knew, but he would not lose the will to go on. Today you will find out how Joe Keenan is doing, a man who escaped from a burning nightclub and underwent more than 100 surgeries. He spent almost a year between hospitals and rehabilitation centers, and years later, he received a hand he never expected. The story I'm going to tell you today is not just a story of loss, but also a story about survival. It was a Thursday night on February 20th, 2003, and the Station nightclub was packed. The venue was hosting a show by the band Great White, known for their rock hits from the 80s. Joe Keenan went to the event accompanied by his girlfriend Carla, also identified in some reports as Carla Bites. Nothing indicated that it would be a different night. People were excited, the stage was set, and the music started. And then, according to the deputies, pyrotechnic effects were set off behind the band. The sparks hit a foam used as acoustic insulation on the walls and ceiling near the stage. In just a few moments, the fire started to rise. At first, some people thought that was part of the show, but it wasn't. The smoke spread quickly, and the flames moved along the walls. What had been a rock concert turned into a desperate race for survival. When people realized the fire was real, panic took over the place. Hundreds of people tried to get out at the same time. Many ran toward the main entrance, the door they knew and had come in through, but the passage became a bottleneck. People fell, others stumbled, and in seconds a pile of people blocked the exit. Joe Keenan got stuck in the middle of that chaos. He reported that he saw people being pushed and falling in front of him. Soon other people fell on top of him. The smoke was intense, the heat was unbearable, and the fire was getting closer and closer. Joe remained conscious during that moment. He could hear screams and cries for help. He tried to survive, but little by little the sounds faded away, until in the midst of darkness and silence, he heard a voice. It was a firefighter. The voice said, "We have someone here." Joe had been found and he was miraculously alive, but his life would never be the same from that moment on. Carla, his girlfriend, couldn't get out. She lost her life that night. Amidst the smoke and the chaos caused by the desperate crowd, the fire at the Station nightclub spread quickly. In about 6 minutes, the place was completely engulfed in flames. 100 people lost their lives. More than 200 were injured. It was one of the most significant incidents in the history of Rhode Island, and one of the deadliest fires ever recorded in a nightclub in the United States. The investigation concluded that the pyrotechnic effects used during the show ignited the flammable foam installed on the stage. The incident revealed a series of failures. The use of highly flammable material, the lack of adequate safety, and the difficulty of evacuation in a crowded environment. But for Joe, those numbers weren't just statistics. Each number was a person. Each person had a family, a story, a future, and among them was Carla, the woman who had gone to the concert by his side. Joe suffered 3rd and 4th degree burns on about 40% of his body. The burns mainly affected his head, face, arms, and hands. He lost all his fingers, lost both ears, lost vision in one eye. His face was severely damaged. And to survive, he had to undergo a series of treatments that few people can imagine. Joe was airlifted by helicopter to Massachusetts General Hospital. In the first few months, he underwent frequent surgeries, skin grafts, procedures to remove dead tissue, and treatments to keep his body functioning. After that, he went on to rehabilitation. In total, he spent about 50 weeks between the hospital and the rehabilitation center. More than a week of surgeries would be necessary, and even after leaving the hospital, his recovery would continue for years. Joe had to relearn simple tasks, had to adapt his routine, had to figure out how to live in a body that had changed so radically. But he had a reason to keep going. Before the fire, Joe was already the father of a teenage girl, and according to reports published at the time, thinking about his daughter was one of the things that helped him hold on. Many times when we hear a survival story, we imagine that surviving means overcoming everything. For Joe, surviving meant living with scars, with limitations, with the loss of Carla, with memories that would never disappear. In his own account, he described how, even after returning home, he still felt that the hospital was the only place where he could relax. It was where he had spent months fighting to stay alive. The world outside the hospital was different. People stared, the routine seemed impossible, but Joe stayed strong and kept going. He hadn't chosen that for his life, but he would have to choose every day what he would do with the life that remained. At Massachusetts General Hospital, a team of about 20 professionals performed a complex surgery to transplant a donated left hand. The operation lasted approximately 15 to 17 hours. It wasn't just an aesthetic issue. A hand could give back some of the autonomy that Joe had lost. It could help him hold objects, cook, perform daily tasks, and regain movements that seemed lost forever. But the transplant also brought risks. There was the possibility of rejection. There were strong medications. There were months of physical therapy, and there was a new battle ahead. But even so, Joe agreed to it, because after everything he had faced, he knew that recovery was never simple. But he also knew that every small achievement had value. After the surgery, Joe began a long rehabilitation. He needed to train movements, strengthen muscles, and teach his brain to recognize a hand that biologically he wasn't born with. In the beginning, he could only move his fingers slightly, but that was already huge. After years without fingers, without a functional hand, any movement was a victory. Joe said he had a persistent personality, and the doctors noticed that quickly. He dedicated himself to physical therapy, wanted to move forward, wanted to regain his independence, wanted to prove that his story wouldn't end on the night of the fire. The new hand didn't erase the scars, didn't bring Carla back, didn't give back everything he lost, but it represented something important. It represented the possibility of moving forward. Joe Keenan's story is not a simple story of overcoming adversity. It shouldn't be told as if everything that happened just disappeared. Joe became a symbol of the strength of burn survivors and the importance of remembering the incident at the station nightclub. He also started using his story to support other people who are facing severe burns, and to reinforce the need for prevention and safety in public places. Joe's life shows that an unexpected event can destroy plans, bodies, and dreams, but it can't completely erase the human capacity to resist. Joe didn't go back to being who he was before that night. No one would, but he built a new life from what was left, a remarkable life, marked by pain, but also by courage. If this story touched you, leave a respectful comment and share this video.
Watch the recommended video. Watch the dubbed video. If you like this tip, share the video with your friends. Watch the dubbed video. Watch the dubbed video. Check out the synced version. Take care of the dubbed video. Watch the dubbed video. The dubbed video is a color video. Add the video. Watch the video that is being dubbed.